Hi folks, welcome to the final episode of my bookshelf audit process, where I've been scouring my shelves looking for books that don't belong, duplicates, books that I've read and I'm never going to read again, books that aren't particularly important or noteworthy, books that I'm never going to read. Those have no place on my shelves. And you can help me if you see something that I skip over that you think, or I've read and you think isn't of any particular value, or it's just a bit shit. Or if you spot a duplicate that I don't, then you can let me know in the comments. I'd very much appreciate it. Okay, today we're going to do, let's see if I can do this. We're going to do these shelves here, and this bookcase here, and this one here, and this shorter one down here. Right, so let's have a look here. That's the Belgariad, 4 out of 5 of them anyway. I'm missing the second one, and the 5 books of the Malloreon, which are a nostalgia buy recently for me. I had those when I was a kid and got rid of them, so those aren't going anywhere. And then these are all reasonably recently acquired hardbacks. That one only the other day. And then these are all Paul Macaulay's. Those aren't going anywhere. No opportunity for spares. This book, I've read it. It was all right. Wasn't all that. I'm reading it just before at the moment, and it's pretty good. So at the back are the first 6 of Adrian Tchaikovsky's Shadows of the Apt. There's a few Ben Bovers, which you know are now The Lost World can go because I've got that in hardback. That I will look out for it in hardback, and when I find it I will get that. I haven't got it at the moment. Doors of Eden I'd like to read at some point. Alien Clay's brand new, I haven't read it yet. The Great Bear hardbacks, those aren't going anywhere. I do have 2 copies of Legacy though. One is which is a bit of a misadventure on my part. One is the US edition, one is the UK edition. I think that's the US edition, the Tor, I think. So I might have a look at those and decide which one I'm going to keep. I've read that. It was all right. Nothing special. I might sell it. I don't know if I'm ever going to read this. Supposedly it's quite good, bit funny. It's a sort of conspiracy theory, brimming with sex and violence. On the other hand, maybe I'll keep it. Velocity Weapon, etc. I enjoyed that well enough to keep them. House of Suns I actually have in hardback, so that can go. Forgettable book. It's silly, kind of popcorn fare, that can go. I've read it, it's all right. This is a tricky one. I've got this now in hardback, but I do like these paperback editions, and the 2 that follow on, Mother of Eden and Daughter of Eden, are matching, but I don't have them. I found this in a charity shop, and I've now got the trilogy in hardback, even the Dark Eden one, which is pretty difficult to get hold of. So arguably I don't need this. Well, I don't need it. The only reason I'm contemplating hanging on to it is I might want to get the other 2 books in the paperback trilogy, but that's madness. Right? I don't need it. That's just silly. That was close. That's a review copy, a proof, memory editing. I'm intrigued enough by that to hang on to it. Numenon, I like the idea of it, but this is book 3 of a trilogy. Wonder if I'm ever going to get the other 2. So I'm intrigued. So let us see what's going on over here. So this is mainly in McDonald's shelf. I've got this, which I found in a charity shop in Watson. It's a fancy. I think I should keep it. It's only slender. It's not taking up much space. I'd like to get these in. Well, I'd at least like to get this in a matching trade paperback, because it looks awkward on the shelf. Or I'd like to get all 3 in hardback. One of the 2. Pickings here. I don't think these are all my mainly sort of vintage-ish hardbacks. Definitely not getting rid of those. Love those books. I would like at some point to get Endymion in this UK black, very nice graphic design edition.
which is lovely. I've got, so I'm keeping all of those, and I've got this matching set of the US editions of Endymion and the Rise of Endymion, but there's no earthly reason for me to have both, so that can go. Aren't I being brave? I'm missing a few. There's a few more to get, and I think I will, like a crazy person, continue to try to find those as well. A Charles Stroh shelf. It's not on my shelves yet, but I have a hardback of Trade of Queens now, so I can get rid of that because I've got. My gut reaction was to say that I'm not getting rid of any of these. This is my in-bank shelf, but there are potentially a couple of opportunities. Firstly, I now have Consider Phlebas in the very posh folio edition, so I don't need the paperback. And I've got 2 copies of the Hydrogen Sonata, which does seem a bit excessive. One of them is a special edition, exclusive limited edition cover. It's just purple basically, so I can probably get rid of that. Don't need 2. Cities have 2. Robert Rankin book can go. I don't think that's going to be my cup of tea at all. Neil Stephenson's kind of untouchable. The Brian Aldiss, more Baxter over here. Now, the Con Eagledon books. I'm never going to read them again. And they were okay, but nothing special. And I think I can sell those, so I'm going to get rid of those. And then what's left is The Green Mile by Stephen King. I'm going to get rid of that because I read it. It was all right. And if I see it in hardback at some point, if such a thing exists, then I'll get that instead. So the ones I wasn't sure about, I've had a closer look, and some of them, one or two of them I've decided to keep, but the others are going. So that's a little pile. So that's quite a bit of space made on the shelves, a valuable exercise. I do seem to have 2 copies of Quarantine. I think we'll find that is the first edition paperback and that's a later reissue. I'll check that, but if that's the case, I'll discard that one and keep this one. So I'll check those. George Martin, now then, The Witcher. I did watch the first couple of seasons of the TV show and I thought I might read the books at some point. And I know that they have their fans. I just wonder whether I'm really going to read them and if I wouldn't be better off freeing up that shelf space there from here to here. More noteworthy science fiction. Not bad. So we've got a couple and potentially The Witchers, which will either go or move. So that's quite a bit of space there. Half a shelf, say. Right, on the top shelf here, it's double parked. So let's do this layer first and then I'll show the one behind. That's the only copy of The Hobbit that I have. It's a little bit spine creased. So maybe I'll get a better version at some point. These were another nostalgia buy. I really loved these books when I was a kid. Really good, and I still have a massive soft spot for them. So I had them when I was a teen. I got rid of them, so I've reacquired them recently. Fairy Tale I'm less fussed about. I did read that and I think enjoy it at the time, but that's not something I would go back and read again, whereas I would go back and read these, so perhaps I'll get rid of that. Brandon fucking Sanderson. I'd forgotten these were here. So I read these first couple of books of this, what's it called, Stormlight Archive. Really enjoyed them. Enjoyed the third book less, and by the time I got to the fourth, it was just such a slog that I think I DNF'd it 2/3 of the way through the first part of book 4. So I'm just not going to read on, and I doubt if I'll try to tackle them again. So I might. Monument I've never heard of Ian Graham either. And whether or not it's the most exciting debut fantasy novel you will read this year, I'm not planning to read it this year or any year, so that can go. That was an impulse buy. Those aren't going anywhere. I still hold out some hope that he'll one day finish the damn thing. Right, what we got here? Okay, some science fiction masterworks type things. There's Golden Age ones here. I only bought those recently, so those aren't going anywhere. But that's it. But I do have, where's it gone? I've got a hardback edition of Hard to Be a God, so that can go. I haven't read any of those, so they can stay. And then we're into Philip K. Dick, of which I have quite a lot, most of which I haven't read. I haven't read that or that, and I don't have duplicates. Now I've got these nice hardback editions of 2 of the 3 of his final, so-called final trilogy. remember that. Might not be the last time we see them. That's the only copy I have of that. It's a Science Fiction Book Club edition, and it's a bit mucky. Ubik, that's the only ones copies that I've got, except Martian Time Slip. Now, where is it? Yeah, so I've got 2 copies of this. One is the New English Library, and it's a little bit spine faded, but it is a vintage copy. This is perfectly nice, but I don't need 2, so I'm going to get rid of the Science Fiction Masterworks. I've also got 2 editions of The Man in the High Castle. Where's the other one? This is a relatively recent edition. I think it's from the 90s. 2001, in fact. Whereas this one, I think, is from the 70s. No, it's not first edition. So it's 1976. So I'm going to keep the older copy with a nicer cover. This is the final trilogy, and it's a nice matching set. They're actually rather nice. Oh, do I really want to get rid of those? They're rather beautiful, actually. I expect I could sell them, no problem. So I was expecting to be quite brutal about these and go, no, I don't need them. I will eventually find The Divine Invasion in another copy. I've got the other 2 in hardback, but you know what? I like those. I'm going to keep them. Totally failed there. Yeah, so I do have 2 copies of Time Out of Joint. So salvage some pride here. That is a Nothing more recent edition in the Penguin. So I'll keep the older one. And I've got 2 copies of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. One is in the older black edition of the Masterworks, which I prefer to the yellow ones. And that is a Nothing 50th Anniversary Gollancz edition. So that can go. Good. All right. So we've made a bit of space in the Dick department, as it very much were. Terry Pratchett. I like these with the Josh Kirby covers. I'm slowly ambling towards collecting a full set of them. I'm nowhere near, but probably the rest of this shelf, I don't... so I've got that in hardback now. I haven't hauled it yet, but I do have it, so that can go. The Jack McDevitts I have not read yet, and I want to keep... In fact, I'm slowly collecting, very slowly, in fact, these women's press science fiction. They're rather handsome editions, I think. June, you would think, would be sacrosanct, but this is my 3rd edition of June, and it's the movie tie-in version, which isn't all that, and I don't have any great sentimental attachment to it. I have the 1984 movie tie-in edition, which I've had since I was a kid, and that I do feel a strong attachment to. And I've got the Bruce Pennington cover of June. I do not need that. That can go. And now I've got that in hardback now. Again, I haven't hauled it yet, so that can go. I think I might get rid of the paperback. It's not that I object to the Laundry Files books, more that I would rather have them in hardback. I've only got a couple. I'm in no rush. When I see them out in the wild, I'll pick them up. So that can go. I think this is going to be slim pickings on this shelf. So that's all my Ken MacLeods. So those aren't going anywhere. And then it's the Gap Cycle, again, not going anywhere. And then Mordaunt's Knees. Right, what have we got down here? Plenty O'Neill Ashes. I could take the view that I'm just going to look for the hardbacks so I can get rid of the paperbacks. But for now, I think I'll keep them. And then it's the Dark Tower. And much as I would like to have these in hardback, I don't yet, so they can stay. I do have the full set of the books. Getting a bit dark in that corner there, sorry. And then there's Queen of the Tearling, which probably should go downstairs. Okay, we're making good progress, so this is going to be quick too, I think. So this shelf has my Alistair Reynolds. It's got a few gaps in it because I couldn't cram them all on this one shelf. I'm a bit of a completist with his stuff now, so those aren't going anywhere. James Blish I'll keep. Will McCarthy's I'll keep. Contact I haven't read. I'm not sure about the Baroque cycle actually. These 3. I'll have a think about that. And then there's some CJ Cherries which I'm determined to read at some point, or at least give her a chance. So those can stay for now. And then what was in the bottom of this shelf? So the Philip K. Dick. It's non-fiction, if I remember rightly, or it's not non-fiction, it's non-science fiction. I think it was published after his death, in fact. So I do wonder if I'm ever going to read that. That could possibly go. Foundation's Edge, I'd like to get the others in hardback actually. Artemis was pretty rubbish. Well, I don't know, was it rubbish? It just wasn't as good as The Martian or Project Hail Mary, so maybe I'll give him a chance and reread it at some point. The House of Rumour, I'd really like to read. And Stableford is a keeper. I haven't read this, but apparently it's a little bit average. And these are recent acquisitions. I probably shouldn't keep the David Webber, but I really want to read that. That wasn't actually that good, so maybe that can go. That's the damage from this particular section. So there's all the Brandon Sandersons, the Witch books, Kim Stanley Robinson I picked up as I went. I've just acquired the hardback of that, so that can go. And those guys, which I'll keep these, but I'll move them. I may keep these, I probably won't, and I may keep the Witcher for now, since I haven't even tried to read them. And there's also not entirely fruitless, you know, there's a good shelf's worth of books there that I've either moving or getting rid of. Not bad, not bad.
Thank you for your patience. That is the final episode of Bookshelf Audit, at least for now. I expect I'll need to do this periodically. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye for now.